Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon sextile or trine Saturn in Synastry. Now, first off, the unconscious side, the inner personality, which is the moon person, can be in harmony and be compatible with what the Saturn person concentrates on. Um, the thing about this is this sinister aspect may be auspicious. It could be for business with the public. Saturn is connected with business. The moon is associated with the public. Let's say the Saturn person has their Saturn in Aquarius. That business may be associated with computers or astronomy, astrology, innovation, electronics, as some examples. Um, if Saturn, say, is in Pisces, that business may be connected with the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Some other things may include poetry, dancing, photography, chemistry, some other examples. And or it could be a pharmacy, drugstore. Now, another thing is that the Saturn person may be able to easily mentor, the moon person. It could be in the moon person's home. The moon person, may be, very good listener. So this aspect can be auspicious for that, for the Saturn person to be teaching the moon person. If this is a situation where where if it's in a classroom and it's a teacher-student scenario where the Saturn person is actually the teacher of the moon person, that could be very positive too, because you have the moon having the strong ability to listen to the Saturn person teach. The moon is receptive; it's about listening, and Saturn again is connected with mentoring and teaching. So another thing too is that this could be the synastry aspect can be positive for could be a supervisor position and supervisor subordinate type connection with the Saturn person being the supervisor and the moon person being that person that could work under the supervisor, because again you're talking about Saturn, which is associated with authority, supervisors. The moon person is about being receptive, being able to listen, um, and can be more passive and submissive. And when you have this, if you have that connection, if you have that synastry aspect, and you have the Saturn person being the supervisor, the moon person being that subordinate, and in that subordinate role, it could actually be very positive for that work relationship. Now, another thing is that the moon person may readily care for the Saturn person if the Saturn person is feeling dejected or sullen, just despondent. The moon person really may be there for that Saturn person in those situations. Another thing too regarding the synastry aspect is that the Saturn person can be beneficial to the moon individual in terms of disciplining his or her emotions, the responses, the reactions. So, the reactions to things are not, over the top, they're not irrational. Uh, Also, too, the Saturn person, may be able, may desire an enduring connection with the moon individual, which may give, the moon person more of a feeling of safety and security. Um, the moon person, may easily, express sympathy and care, toward the Saturn person if they're going through any limitations, or if the Saturn person has any chronic issues that he or she is trying to cope with. If, let's say, the Saturn person has their Saturn in Scorpio, there may be some chronic issues connected to the colon, the prostate, the bladder, could be the urinary tract, in some examples. Um, And the thing too is, the Saturn person, may have been somebody that may have worked with the moon person in the past. The moon is connected, with the past and memories. And this is a good combination for the Saturn person being able to really be. It could be, well, I want to say something different now. That the Saturn person can readily bring, more responsibility, positive way into the moon person's life, being able to encourage the moon person to take care of responsibilities in his or her home. And I want to say, as I stated in my earlier videos on the natal chart placements, I'll say here, this applies to Synastry. If you have, never isolate, any single, one astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on that alone, because the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. And the same applies to Synastry aspects in astrology. One Synastry aspect does not make or break a connection, and the moon sextile or trine Saturn in Synastry is certainly no exception. In most Synastry charts, you're going to have a plethora of aspects between person A and person B. Now, in this case, this is a positive auspicious aspect because you're talking about a sextile or a trine. Now, you can have some other aspects that might, in Synastry, that might offset this to some degree. Now, let's say, for example, okay, you have the moon sextile or trine Saturn in Synastry between person A and person B. But let's say, at the same time, the moon person has their moon, square or opposite the Saturn person's Pluto. That could be an aspect of emotional manipulation. The Pluto person may be, trying hard to control the moon person's emotions and, may bring, some crisis into that moon person's home life. So, you gotta, look at all, the aspects in Synastry. And, in terms of, what, because you have to, understand that one Synastry aspect doesn't make or break a connection. Like in this case with the moon sextile trine Saturn in Synastry, you're gonna, the basic, interpretation, delineation of that aspect remains the same, regardless of the other Synastry aspects, but it could be less intense if you have some other aspects that are adverse that might modify this to some degree. So that's basically what I'm saying. But this aspect by itself can really, be, very, positive and auspicious. I would say, if you have this aspect, it's a significant other situation. If you have two people that are married, and let's say the moon person is the female person, the Saturn person is the male, that could be especially propitious for the connection of the people, because the Saturn, person may be the one, that's going, we're having some business or career in being able to provide for the wife, for the moon person, to have their safety and security, to have their home the way it needs to be, to have stability in one's home. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.